Heart to heart with Abba Gabba. Heart to heart with Abba Gabba. Hello and welcome to Heart with Abba Gabba, a podcast in honor of celebrating families and everything about children, beginning with us. Confidently, this will inspire and encourage us to listen, defend, and advocate for our infants, toddlers, preschoolers, school age children, teenagers, and all children from across the board to help us see the world from their perspectives and offer support throughout their stages of development. Celebrate! Heart to Heart with Abba Gaba is sponsored by Staff Smart, your one-stop destination for staffing and non-medical concierge services for adults, teens, and children. For more information, I encourage you to visit www.staff-smart.org and by phone 480-875-6871. You are listening to Heart with Abba Gaba. I'm your host, Abby Dominguez. If you love children, writing, education, lifelong learning, nurturing a love for teaching, and emphasizing the importance of building strong relationships with your students and inspiring them, this podcast is for you. Today, I am excited to bring you a heart to heart with Renes Lophanor. He is a multilingual author and certified teacher with over 2 decades of experience in education. I welcome you to Heart with Abagaba Renee. I am conversing with you from Mesa, Arizona. Please tell our listeners where we are connecting from and share a short bio.
Hello, Avi. Thank you for having me on your channel. I am currently based in the United Kingdom. I'm in England.
Nice. I have
Yeah.
family there. I was there 2 years ago on a visit.
Oh, you could have visited me. Come on.
I know, right?
I am a teacher,
Uh-huh.
author,
Mm-hmm.
musician.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but where I find the most joy
Uh-huh.
in my everyday life is in the classroom.
Nice.
And I've been teaching for, as you said, for about 22 years now. And I still love teaching despite having all the reasons in the world to quit.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait to hear more about that. And that is so inspiring. So, you have 22 years of experience as a language teacher. That's amazing. How
Thanks.
many languages do you speak and teach?
Fluently four languages
Nice.
and altogether six. And I teach three.
Six. Whoa, that is so impressive. I love that.
But languages, the more languages you know, the easier it becomes to add another one to it. So yes, the first ones are always the most difficult one, but
Ooh.
with the habit and with what you've learned from the first ones, it becomes easy for you to grasp the grammar points of any new one that you want to learn.
Ooh, so I want to hear the languages. I want to hear them.
Ok, eh bien, tout d'abord, ma parler collabo.
Ooh, d'accord, d'accord. Bonjour, bonjour.
That was not French yet. That was not French.
Ah,
That,
never mind. See, I'm not that
that was
multilingual.
that was Haitian Creole.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. One of my best friends is from Haiti. How did I not even know?
Ah,
She would
bah, there you
laugh at
go.
me when I
Mais,
introduce.
mais, maybe if I had said Kijonye, sac passé, sac à fête,
Ooh,
yeah, maybe you would have got that.
ooh. Maybe I would have had it.
So yeah, so there are in order Haitian Creole, French, English, German, Slovak,
Ooh,
and Spanish.
German. Ooh,
Hmm.
and Spanish.
Yeah.
Wow. Let me see if I know anything in German. My sister lives in Germany. All I know is danke.
Well,
Tschüss.
That's
Oh.
once you say thank you, goodbye, so that they don't they don't get you involved into a conversation you won't be able to understand.
I know,
That's
right?
that's a good escape. Good escape.
Ooh. And Spanish, that's impressive. That's awesome. Did you learn the languages growing up, or how did you get into
Um,
languages?
Actually, I learned them at school. At
Uh-huh.
school, I started learning English from year seven. I mean, in England, year seven. I think
Hmm.
that's secondary school. So from the
Uh-huh.
first year of secondary school, middle school in the US, I think.
Hmm.
And then 2 years later, so year nine in the UK, and I think you call that grade eight
Hmm.
in the US, I started German as well.
Ooh. Ooh.
And
Nice.
I carried on with both these two languages alongside French, obviously, uh, until university.
Hmm.
And and then as for Slovak, I'm self-taught. And
Ooh.
for Spanish, I started teaching myself. Then I went to the university for four
Uh-huh.
years in order to learn it properly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that's where I
Wow.
am now. I started
You
learning Arabic as well, but um, because of time, I had to give that up because
wow.
that's when I started writing
Uh-huh.
um, my books. So
Hmm. You inspire me to put my children in, like, learn so I can teach them or something. I don't know.
honest,
Like,
honestly, do that if you can do that because they learn so fast.
so
Uh,
fast, so
and
fast,
yeah, yeah,
so fast.
never never worry about them mixing languages up because I have two sons as well, and they speak four languages.
Wow.
And from birth, I had always spoken with them in French
Hmm.
and Haitian Creole.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and the mother spoke Slovak to them. And living in England, we also speak English to them. And they had
Wow.
English at school, so they are completely at ease with all four languages.
That's that's just wonderful. I'm from Ghana. My
Okay.
husband is Hispanic, born here. So
Hmm.
I speak Fanti with them. One of my tribal, I speak Fanti, so I speak it with them.
Yeah.
And I try to speak Spanish with them. I don't know a whole lot. I just a
Yeah.
little bit that I know. So hopefully um I think it's such a beautiful thing, languages and cultures. And so
Yeah. And one of the key thing is that you should not hesitate when you speaking to your children
uh-huh.
in your language. It should be consistent.
Consistent. Yeah.
Otherwise, they will revert to the country's language. So in your
Right.
case, English,
Right.
even when you try to speak to them in your native language. So for me, it had always been French,
Hmm.
and because I wanted them to learn it,
Yeah.
to have that extra language, and that's what they speak to me naturally as well, even if there are
Oh.
people around, and let's say you are next to me, we're having a conversation, you, myself, and my children,
Uh-huh.
while I speak English to you, and they would speak English to you too. If they want to say anything to me directly, they
Uh-huh.
will say it in French, automatically in French. Yeah.
Oh, that
And
is
the same for me. I would say it in French to them. It doesn't feel natural for me to
to
speak to them.
switch it. Yeah.
Yeah, in English.
It's almost
It's
like magical. Like
Mm.
it's just beautiful. Oh my goodness, I commend you for that. That is, I love it.
when they were in primary school, my oldest son's teacher um, told my wife at the time that we should stop speaking other languages than English
Oh my gosh.
to my son because that, according to her, that was delaying his learning
Hmm.
and understanding. And I said, nope, no way. We both agreed that. Nope. I mean, at the time when the teacher said that, um, there was no concern, nothing
Hmm.
for us to be concerned
Uh-huh.
about his learning process. That was he was learning, so of
Hmm.
course, and he some students learn faster or
Yeah.
slower than others, and but for me, I had no shadow of concern that we should stop. No, we continued
Yeah.
the way we're doing, and we were right doing so because here they
Yeah.
are now today. They speak four languages. They are happy and did well
Oh.
at school. So yeah.
So, I mean, kids are going to grow up and they're going to
Hmm.
have their own interests and they're going to have want to visit countries and cultures. And then how unfair would it be that when they get older, then they learn? Say they go
Yeah.
to Germany when they're older. Now they're going to learn German. When they're
Hmm.
older, no. When they're children, and then the brain, they're like sponges. They soak up everything you teach them. They watch us. They listen intently. So
Absolutely.
teaching them when they're young, when they get older and they want to go to Germany, or when they want to go to, I don't know,
I
some
yeah. I know
place.
so many people who've said, "Oh, I wish my parent taught me Chinese. I wish my parent taught
Yes.
me Spanish or French." And I said, "Why?" Or the parents saying, "Oh, I wish I spoke to my children in my language when they were
Yeah.
a child." Said, "Well, yes, you should have." But
Yeah. Yeah. Because I believe that parents are the first teachers. And so
hmm
you birth them, you have a roadmap for them to guide
yeah,
them, mold them to be good citizens and everything. And so if language is one of them, then by all means, like
yeah.
good for you for teaching them. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
All right. I wanted to ask you, what are some of the challenges you faced as a student, and how do those experiences influence how you teach today?
Challenges that as a student, you said.
Yes.
Okay, well, as a student, no, as a teacher, yeah. Um, well, as a student, first of all, there was I mean, you probably won't see it as a challenge, but it turned out to be one. Having done my primary school time in Haiti,
Hmm.
where all the teachers were strict. You had to, you had to behave, you had to
Hmm.
learn your lessons, you had to do your homework. Otherwise, there was a hell to pay. But then for secondary school, I moved to France, to Paris, and there things were so laid back
Oh
in
my
terms
God, of course.
yeah, yeah. So in terms of um the what you call the school rules, the teachers were not strict at all. If anything, the students were running the show. Uh,
Ooh.
and for me, thanks to my education, my
Hmm.
ground education,
Uh-huh.
I did not get involved in being disrespectful to my teachers, and
Nice.
I'm so happy for that. So thank you, parents and and everyone. But but I ended up not working as hard as I could have. First of all, because the things we were doing um, in class were too easy for me because I had already done them in primary school in Haiti,
Uh-huh.
and then I got involved into drawing in class, but really a lot because some of my best friends were amazing drawers, um, amazing artists drawing cartoons, animes, stuff, which I was very into as well.
Uh-huh.
And so, to make long story short, after a year, my level in French, in math, in the core subjects
Hmm.
declined a bit.
Oh no.
And to go below 10. I'm saying 10 because in France, we don't give grades, we give marks. and
Oh.
average, yeah, you get a score out of 20 for in every test, every exam. So at the end of the year, you need to have an overall mean score of 10 in order to move to the next grade. Otherwise, you repeat the year.
Oh.
So for me, that was one of, yeah, the biggest challenge that
Mm-hmm.
I encountered, which was the too much leniency
Uh-huh.
in the system. So, like I said, that's not something people would naturally see as a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, they would say, "Oh, that's not a challenge. That's actually easy peasy." But for me, it was because I needed the the strictness
Uh-huh.
to keep on track. But
Wow.
luckily, I managed to revert to my old self, and then and then overcame that. And then yeah, I think that's the only thing I can think of in terms
Uh-huh.
of my life as a student.
Uh-huh.
For everything else, I managed. I coped
Mm-hmm.
well, let's
Mm-hmm.
say.
That's
And yeah, it was more as a teacher that things
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
were were more challenging, but
Uh-huh.
that I'm sure you will want to know.
So your journey highlights the importance of resilience and adaptability. Like you said, you were coped, right? What tips or advice do you have for people struggling in rigid or unsupportive environments, whether in education or elsewhere?
Well, it's to have a discipline. For
Discipline.
me,
Yeah.
yeah, the discipline is more important than we think. And by discipline, that does not necessarily mean to do the same thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But to say that you will do something and
Uh,
to mean it,
to
even
mean it.
if
Yeah.
at the end of the day you might change what you said you were gonna do, but that's part of the discipline, being um, flexible
Mm-hmm.
and to adapt to a new situation. But
Yeah.
you still have the main goal, the main objective to follow. Um, so by having that, that will help um, people around you,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're a teacher, that will help the students know where you're heading to, and they will be in a better position to follow your instructions or guidance.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you don't have a goal, you don't have the discipline
Uh-huh.
behind it, people and children will not take you seriously,
Yeah.
and they will take advantage
Mm-hmm.
and when they need to, and yourself, you will start having doubt about yourself, about your abilities,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to be like a vicious circle. You will want to to be, let's say, more strict when you could have avoided that,
Mm-hmm.
and or not. Like for me, if I take an example, if I take the school context, the classroom context as an example,
Uh-huh.
if you ask any of my students who is the most strict teacher in the language department or even in the school, my name will never come first.
Oh, wow.
My name, as a matter of fact, let's say uh out of 50 teachers, my name will probably be in the last 10. Yet, yet, if you ask them gives who will not take any BS from any student, who is strict on his um what do you call it?
Like
Homework,
grading
class,
and all that.
yeah, grading, classwork being done, um, or detention
Hmm.
given. If you, yeah, my name then will come. will come up in the top 10. However, they do not, the fact that they don't see me as the most strict teacher in the school, despite the fact that I I do the most strict thing
Uh-huh.
that deserved for me to be in the top 10, means that they agree with the way with with my the way I am using my authority.
Yeah. Yeah.
I Yeah, they don't see it as they don't see me as being strict for the sake of being strict. They
Mm-hmm.
don't see my detention as an abuse of power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I speak to them even during the detention,
Mm-hmm.
joke with them, laugh with them. Okay, you're here just because you didn't complete that classwork. Okay, do it. And
Mm-hmm.
then as soon as you do it, okay, ciao, enjoy your break. And with a smile, and that's it. No grudges. And was if you give them a detention and then they sit there just for the sake of the detention to show that you have the power over them,
Mm-hmm.
it's for me, it's not it's not going to be productive in the long term
Mm-hmm.
um, for them. So that's the way I treat people
Mm-hmm.
outside the classroom as well. If I promise someone something, I always make sure I stick to my promise,
That's great.
and yeah, as much as I can. So yeah, reputation is is very important to me.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
That's so cool. So I had a follow-up question for you, but you
mhm.
touched on that. I was going to ask you, as a teacher, how do you make learning fun and engaging for students, especially those who may not be naturally interested in
Okay.
school or traditional education?
Yeah, that's a good question. Uh, because nowadays we know children, students, they want instant gratification
Hmm.
and they want fun in everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they want fun in everything, but they get easily bored with fun as well.
Right,
So
right,
it all
right.
depends on how you do that fun and how much of it you do in the classroom. So um, for me, first of all, the way I use fun in my classroom
Hmm.
is to connect with my students.
Hmm.
By connection, I mean, from the first lesson in September, I learn the name. I mean, the first name, not the full name. I
Uh-huh,
can't do that. The
uh-huh,
first name within that first lesson.
uh-huh.
And that connection, when I'm dismissing the class, I say, au revoir, so and so, au revoir, John, au revoir, Mary, au revoir. And they look at me in a way, wow, he knows my name. He knows
Oh,
our
that's
name.
huge.
So that's for them, that's already a huge achievement.
That is
That means,
huge. Yeah.
yeah, they see me as the teacher who knows the name. So they see
Hmm.
me now
Hmm.
as someone, as a human being, rather than
Yeah.
as some random teacher who doesn't know their name yet, or
Uh-huh.
if they will ever remember
Yeah.
their name.
That.
And with that, I can connect with them on a human level, and
Hmm.
any activity that I do in class,
Hmm.
I try to be myself.
Hmm.
And not only I try, I am myself in the
Uh-huh.
classroom. And so if I want to do a game, I have my guitar next to my desk. If they are doing some written work silently, I would grab
Hmm.
the guitar and play some
Oh,
arpeggio, and that that's fun for them.
wow.
So by
That's
fun,
that's
yes, but
cool and fun. That's cool and fun.
yeah,
Wow.
by fun, people tend to think games, play games, but no, it's not just that. Just that playing the guitar while they are doing some
Oh,
yes, test. For them, it's fun. Or if it's not the guitar, I will put some instrumental jazz in the
Mm-hmm.
background, and they they like it. They
Mm-hmm.
like it. If I can easily transform anything into a song if I'm teaching them, I don't know, let's say the verb aller, je
Mm-hmm.
vais, tu vas, il va, elle va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont, and you see the smile on the
That
face.
sounds
That
great.
that's part of fun, you know.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so yeah, and and
Oh,
and to be spontaneous
to be spontaneous.
as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, so to be fully adaptive to the situation.
I would.
While, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I was gonna say being um while being respected
Uh-huh.
and respectful towards
Uh-huh.
them.
Uh-huh.
Mhm,
I love that. So I was
mhm.
going to ask you, how can creativity be incorporated into traditional education? But you said it so well. I don't need to ask you that. And I was just thinking about this, like when you play the guitar, right?
Mm,
And not only are you being creative, you're also awakening your senses and
yes,
listening and relaxing and just, they're connected to your music, or like you inspire them to be teachers and also play the guitar and
yeah,
inspire others. And so, oh my goodness, I have this visual image in my head and it's just great. It's it's just great. It makes me smile just by visualizing.
yeah. And one thing I keep in mind when I'm in the classroom is how I imagine myself sitting next to my students, looking at the teacher, so looking at myself, my other
Uh-huh.
self, and thinking, how would I like my teacher to be?
Hmm.
And I try to be just that.
To be just that.
Hmm.
Wow. Like you always put yourself in their shoes
Yeah,
and kind of feel what they would have felt. I
absolutely.
really like that. Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
So, but at this point, I want to hear about your book. I want to ask you. So, wait, hold on. Let me get my thoughts together here, and I will ask you about your book. I think it's so amazing. Before I came home to be with my children, and so anything education, teaching, writing, I love it.
Oh,
Yes. So
you're a teacher as well. Okay, didn't know.
I know, right? For preschoolers,
Okay.
early ed. Right. So I want to ask, okay, where's my, I have this question here. Let me get it together here. And then, okay, you've written a book about your teaching insights.
Hmm.
Can you share some key takeaways or strategies from the book that resonate most with teachers, parents, or students? We have 8 minutes, but we're gonna nail it. I trust me.
Well, one of them is, or the main one I would say for me is to have a life outside of school.
Okay.
Now, by having a life outside of school, saying it like that, people will say, "What do you mean? We all have a life outside of
Yeah,
school.
what do you mean?
We don't sleep in the school." I mean, when you leave the school, try to leave the school life behind.
Oh.
Like for me, nowadays I barely take any any students' work to mark at home. I
Hmm.
try to do it all in school.
All in school, yeah.
Yeah, be it during break time or lunchtime. I know not everyone is willing to sacrifice their break time or lunchtime to do that because it's your break. You
Hmm.
need the rest, and I know that's not possible for everyone. It's not always possible for me, but as much as I can do that, I do it because when I walked out from the reception door,
Hmm.
I forget. I literally forget everything that happened in the school.
Hmm.
If you stop me in the street and say, "Hey, Renes, how was your day at school?" I honestly would have to think over. I would have to think, say, oh, what I did, and that was something that yeah got me into trouble with my wife at the time because
Uh-oh.
after work uh, after work when I get home she said, "How was your day?" I say, "It was all right. It was good," and yeah, and she's expecting more. But for me, there was nothing more to say unless something exceptional happened, such
Uh-huh.
as a fire drill or I don't know, a student fight, something like that. But otherwise, it's just the norm, and I forget, and and then I get into my life. I do
Nice,
my own things
nice, nice.
with family, my sports, hobbies, friends, music, whatever it is, but something that disconnects me from the school life and that
Nice.
prevent burnout as well. And burnout being one of the main reasons why colleagues have been leaving the profession.
Hmm.
Mhm. And so, yeah, so that is my main takeaway for colleagues.
Hmm.
And the previous ones I've said is to try and be yourself in the classroom,
Uh-huh.
uh, and do not necessarily try to be someone else because the kids will see right through you,
It will. Yeah.
and you will not be able to sustain that face, that
Hmm.
mask for long.
Uh-huh.
And and that will ruin your relationship with the kids and and your time in the profession,
I
reducing,
understand.
yeah.
I
Mhm.
understand what you're saying because sometimes like it's the same way like you go into work and you bring your relationships, whatever, and then you at work. When you go to work, just close that door you left home
Mhm.
and then work. And then when you after work, close that
Yes.
door, open a new door so you can give your best, your all to home life and your children and your family and your spouse and your other,
Yeah,
all that. So
exactly.
yeah.
So that's why I share my own experiences of feeling overwhelmed by the constant demands of the job and how I've
Uh-huh.
learned to recognize the warning signs
Uh-huh.
early on. And yeah, so one key takeaway is that burnout is not a personal failure. It's
Uh-huh.
often the result of the systemic pressures and unrealistic expectations that they put upon the teacher's shoulders.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my advice is to prioritize self-care and set
Self-care and
boundaries.
set boundaries.
Yeah, it's okay to say no to extra responsibilities, and that's why I do not see myself being head of department, head of anything, because these things would take me away from the classroom
From the classroom.
to do admin stuff, which I
Uh-huh.
am not keen on. I am a teacher who enjoys teaching, and
Hmm.
teaching is being in the classroom.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So find ways to recharge, whether it's through hobbies, exercise, or simply spending time with loved ones. Another
Hmm.
important strategy would be to seek support
Hmm.
if necessary, connect with colleagues or
Hmm.
join professional communities where you can share challenges or and successes.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, remind yourself.
So
Yeah.
that's wonderful. I want to
Yeah.
hear the name of your book and where we can find it.
The book
Yes, the
is
name of your book.
simply, yeah, it's simply called I Still Love Teaching
Ooh.
Despite Having All the Reasons in the World to Quit.
Ooh.
And it's available on Amazon. It's if you want a signed copy, you can contact me directly via my website, reneslophanor.com, or send me a message on Instagram or Facebook,
Uh-huh.
Renes Lophanor author, and then I shall follow up.
Nice.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, Renes, it's been so a breath of fresh air talking to you. I want to thank you so very much for coming on Heart to Heart with Abagaba, visiting us today. And I congratulate you for teaching and all the wonderful things that you're doing.
Thank you.
And I hope we connect again somehow and then have a wonderful day. All right, then.
Bye bye.
Bye. Heart to Heart with Abagaba is also sponsored by Aspire Behavioral Health. They offer monitoring, counseling, medication, and personal care services in a beautiful residential setting. I encourage you to contact them at aspirecbh@outlook.com or call 480-875-6871. Please feel free to share this podcast with your friends, families, and loved ones. And if you would like to connect with me, the best place would be on my website, abigailedominguez.com, or on social media. You can follow me on Instagram at author underscore Abigail E underscore Dominguez. And we have a new YouTube channel at Heart to Heart with Abagaba. So please feel free to check us out also. And finally, I'd like to make a disclaimer that the stories and points of views we have shared on this podcast are personal and from our life and work experiences. We are not legal, medical, mental, or health advisors. Have an awesome day, and I look forward to connecting with you again on this platform. Be your light, be joyful, and as always, celebrate.